So, in today's video, we're going to be doing something completely different than usual. We're going to be playing a game of Microsoft Train Simulator with my Raildriver cab controller. This basically simulates the controls of a real train, and it makes the experience a lot cooler. It's very, very fun, actually. We're also going to be playing it along with Microsoft Train Simulator, which is my favorite train simulators of all the simulators. It's 17 years old. I think it actually came out the year I was born. So the graphics are not the greatest, but something about it I find just makes the train feel most alive, which is kind of interesting. Microsoft just did something right with this one. So anyways, we're going to get everything going here. We're going to click drive a train here. This controller is primed for a -9, which just so happens to be what we're going to drive. We're going to go on the Marias Pass. BNSF-9, 4 -9 locomotives with 15 intermodal cars. We're going to be starting at 8 in the morning, an autumn day, and heading towards Red Eagle. So we're going to start the simulator up here, and I'll show you how it all works. Okay, so we've got the train booted up here. Here's just our track monitor. We're going to minimize that because we don't need it at the moment. So here are the controls. This is your locomotive brake. Basically, if you're just, like, let's say driving a locomotive around through a yard, you use this, and it will just stop the locomotive. This is your train brake, which basically applies all the brakes on the whole train, like on every individual car. This is the combined power handle, which on one side has your throttle, and on the other side has your dynamic brake. And then this is the reverser. It's best described as pretty much the shifter on your car. One way is reverse, the center is neutral or park, and then you've got forward gear. In the case of Microsoft Train Simulator, since we're going to be driving a train, we don't need this on. And we've got all the controls set the way we want them. We're now going to hit run, which will calibrate the controller with the game, and we can start playing. Okay, so we're now in the game. It's just, everything's just adjusting to what we have set on here. And we can just go outside the cab here for a second. And here's our beautiful -9 locomotive. We're going back in the cab. We're going to start off by turning on the headlights. And if we go back outside, you can see those are on. There are our brights. Now, to start moving the train, we're going to put the reverser into forward gear. As you can see, it's in forward on the screen. And we are going to release the train brake. And I believe in the United States, it's actually law before you begin moving to honk your horn once to warn anybody that could be around the train that you're about to move forward. And with that, we're going to put the locomotive into gear 1, and we'll start moving. In the simulator, you can just slam the throttle all the way down to notch 8 if you want and go full speed, but on a real train, you would not want to do that because there's always a risk of breaking a coupler. Because what can be created is, in a very long train in particular, there's something called slack, which is basically the spacing between each coupler. There's just a few inches of space, but over a long train, you add all those spaces up. Sorry, that's just the alerter, and it creates slack, which can break a coupler because it will have kind of like a slamming effect. Anyways, we're out on the main line here. We can turn off our bell, and we're going to start to pick up speed now that we've got the whole train moving here. And we'll bring her up to notch 7. On a real train, you'd probably want to operate this a bit more efficiently, but it's a simulator, so why not accelerate just a bit quicker? And let's just bring up our track monitor here. You can see the speed limit is 60 miles an hour. We're currently going roughly 50, so we're going to continue accelerating. There's a whistle sign that means the level crossing is coming up, so we're going to start blowing our horn. Short one before the crossing, and we're also going to start easing the train down a bit because we're actually speeding. We're going to start decelerating. We're going to put the locomotive in setup, so we're just going to slow down the train. We're on a little bit of a downhill, but not enough to create any serious trouble. alerter. Just checking to make sure I'm awake. I'll turn off the bell again. So we've got another whistle sign. That means another level crossing is coming up, so we're going to prepare for that. We're going to turn our dim, or not lights off, we're just going to put them on dim. Warning the people at the crossing. There's still a long one, short one, and one through the crossing. And there we go. We can also turn our brights back on and turn off the bell. Now, we're currently still decelerating because I believe we're actually on a level grade right now. So we're just going to give it 2 notches, and then once it starts accelerating, we're going to put her back 1 notch. Sec here, we're going to start going uphill. This is where we're going to need to start applying a little more throttle. We've got 4 locomotives on this train though. Here's our back locomotive, and as you can see we've got 3 on the front though, so it's really not too much of a struggle. On a real train you may want to start accelerating a little bit in advance, but on this train it doesn't matter. So we're actually going to start adding on the throttle now because we're heading uphill. This controller is actually very cool because it has a speaker in the controller which will actually create the sensation of a real train in your hands. So when you hear the engine running, you can actually feel it. So any sound from the game goes through the speaker, so it's quite a cool system they've got there. You can see we're in notch 7. The train is now, we're in notch 8, we're now completely fighting with the grade. In a sec here, the grade is going to start to descend, so then we're going to actually start gearing down here. In fact, we're going to put the train in setup. We're going to let the train run. You have to let it run in setup for a little bit, otherwise it will beep at you, I guess, for... I'm not really sure how it works, actually, but I just noticed you have to let it run in setup for a while. So we're now going to start applying the engine brake, B1, B2. There's our alerter again. What this does is actually taking power back up through the traction motors and creating resistance. So right now every locomotive is resisting against the grade, which is pretty cool. And now we're going to bring our train back into setup, and we're just going to let it roll up this hill. We still have the rest of the train. As you can see, the back of it's still actually pushing the front of it up, which is why it's still actually accelerating a bit. Start notching up to fight with the with this little grade. Shouldn't need too much power because this is a fairly short grade. Also a level crossing coming up. Controller right back into idle because we're actually going to start descending soon. In fact, we're going to put it into setup. And as you can see, we're already accelerating, so we're going to have to start putting the train into dynamic braking. Here are the traction motors are resisting. On this particular descent, the traction motors cannot completely resist the weight of the train, so we're actually going to have to start applying the train brake to slow the train. And now we have the train back under control again. I'm going to bring it down to 55 just so that we have a little bit of wiggle room if the train begins accelerating like it is right now. We are actually over the speed limit now, so we're going to let the train coast a little bit with the brake on. Brake. The track is leveling out soon, so we should be able to start pulling back. We got a whistle sign too, so just going to check our track monitor too. And the speed limit is still 60, so we're okay to continue at our current speed. And as you can see, we've got a green signal, so we can continue onward. Turn off that bell because it's starting to get on my nerves. Just also show you some of the views here. Back to the train, front of the train. There's that. Get an alerter. I do apologize actually if the frame rate is a little bit laggy in places. This is running on a computer which is about 12 years old, a Windows XP machine, and it's also running the recording software, so I do apologize if it's making it, if it's lagging a little bit. I accidentally actually put the lights into dim. Now just check on our track monitor again. We're still in a 60 zone, so we're gonna let the oh, actually, just said we're speeding. Okay, we're actually in a 40 zone, so we're just gonna apply the engine brake because yeah, see, I didn't let it run in setup for long enough. Just need to ease the train, and since we're on a level grade, the resistance of the locomotives should be enough to ease our train here. Start demanding a little more power from our engine brakes. Traction motor brakes, I should say. We're going to put the train in B8, brake 8, to get it right all the way down to 40. It does appear we're about to enter some curves, which could be hazards. As you can see, we managed to get the train right to the speed we want it to. We're going to let it run in idle for a bit. We're gonna just give her a couple gears just to keep the train rolling here. To apply our bell before going through a tunnel. Outside for a bit here. We're actually going back up grade again, so we're going to start applying throttle again here to bring us up to the speed we want. 2 notches seems to be enough that we're just creeping up to this speed, but not going so quick we don't have control. So we're just going to put her in gear 1 and try to coast at roughly 39. You can see the grade is now starting to reduce the speed, so we're going to start adding throttle again. Try to keep her basically between 35 and 40. The prime speed of efficiency and safety. Again. again, so we're just gonna let the train coast again. And we're back in the speed we want, so we're gonna put her back in gear 1. The speed is still reducing, so we're gonna give her 2 notches of power. Notches, and we'll give her 4 just to get her back in our between 35 and 40 range. Five notches now. And it does appear we're about to go into a bit of a descent, so we're now gonna start putting train back into the lower notches, and as you can see, the speed's reducing. So I think I'm gonna cut the video now because neither my computer or phone has enough memory to do the entire route. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Microsoft Train Simulator, I think, is a lot of fun, and you know, maybe in the future we can make some more videos about driving trains.